Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. My name is Howie Heckman. I'm one of the developers here at PTS, and I'll be walking you through a little bit of a demo and discussion about our latest product, TracerPlus Connect, showing you kind of how it merges the other syncing tools that we have, TracerPlus Wireless Server, ODBC Link, as well as our Excel plugin into this one product, and really gives you extra flexibility in moving your data around between maybe a mobile device, back-end database, and Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so with that, I'll just jump into a little bit of a bulleted list here of some of the new features with our new product, TracerPlus Connect. It's kind of a all-in-one syncing tool, so it adds a lot of the functionality of both TracerPlus Wireless Server, or TracerPlus ODBC Link, and then the Excel plugin all into this one product and builds on those applications. So it does allow you to sync in both a batch and a wireless mode. So you can send data over a wireless network, or just like in, say, ODBC Link, you could sync through a cradle. We have an easy-to-use configuration, so it does build on a lot of the features of the old products, but it still gives you that flexibility of just marrying up the different data sources and sending your data to and from a mobile device to, say, an Access database or an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. It is integrated within TracerPlus Desktop, and I'll show you a little bit of that today. Some of the older products, if you remember when you're setting up your synchronizations, the PDA side is generally just referenced by field index, say. So if you want to send your parts list to a back-end Access database, you'd be marrying up field 1 to, say, a part number field in the Access database. Now within TracerPlus Connect, we've incorporated your project settings into that configuration, making it that much easier to use, so you can really see how the two endpoints of your data are marrying up and how they get sent back and forth. There's also a lot of other features here that I'll be stepping into, such as data filtering, condition-based syncing, and so on. These allow you to kind of control what data gets sent from the PDA, say, to that ODBC database, so you're not always sending everything, or you're not always just overwriting data. You can really control the data that's moving to and from the devices, so only things that you need. We also now have incorporated different timed syncing, so you can set up your device to sync maybe once a day or at the beginning of the day. So as that device is sitting there, maybe in the cradle, that's when the synchronization starts, and it moves that data back and forth at a time when the mobile workers may not be using the device, and they want to have all that data loaded up on the device before they go out for their shift during the day. So I'll go into a little bit of these as I get into the demo here. I'll show you the different features of the software and kind of give you a live demonstration of the product. And also, I'd just like to note, actually, before I jump into the demo, that I am going to be using a project from our Solution Center, as well as a sample database that's installed with TracerPlus Connect. So when you install the application just to trial, you'll see an Access database that's included with the installation. And we've actually included some tables and data preloaded in that Access database that you can use with some of the solutions on our website. So at the end of the demonstration, if you'd like to take a look at what I set up here, you can both download the TracerPlus Desktop project and push it to a mobile device, and then you can use the sample database to see how all those parts work together and how you get the data to and from the mobile device. Okay, but before I get into that, I'd just like to mention also that TracerPlus Connect does kind of combine some of the different syncing options that we've had in the past. You can, with this one tool, both sync wirelessly as well as batch, and also to different applications. So you can use this product to sync to an Excel spreadsheet or also to any ODBC database, but you can also sync to a text file. So maybe somebody in the past that was just using a file export within TracerPlus on the handheld and then copying that text file to a PC through a cradle, you could also now sync directly to a text file, maybe over Wi-Fi or even just through the cradle, to kind of ease that data transfer a little bit. But this one product kind of combines all of those, so you're not just syncing either to a database using, say, TracerPlus ODBC Link, or maybe with the Excel plugin to an Excel spreadsheet. You can combine those into this one product. Okay, and also I'd like to kind of touch on here that the licensing model for TracerPlus Connect is a little bit different than some of the older products. This TracerPlus Connect installation will allow a certain number of TracerPlus seats to connect to that installation. So rather than one license per PC, so if you install ODBC Link and you can sync a number of devices, this server will allow some number of devices to connect to it. And the person installing that server has the ability to add additional seats to that application. Just to also note, you can install the server on different satellite PCs so that you can sync to different servers other than just maybe the one primary installation that you have. So that would allow something like if you go to a different location and you maybe want to sync through a Cradle, you can do that. You can install that TracerPlus Connect installation on at a different location and still continue to sync amongst those different PDAs. Okay, and I'll be stepping into that in a little bit as well, just to show you how that works. So here you can see actually a screenshot of the registration form within TracerPlus Connect. Now it's a little bit different than some of the older products. Some of the older products you may just enter this registration code here, but with TracerPlus Connect, after entering the registration code, you will be presented with a list here of all of the open licenses that you can issue. Okay, so once you say enter this registration code here, 3 licenses will become available, and then the admin can begin adding the device IDs that are allowed to connect to this installation of TracerPlus Connect. Okay, and there's an import-export tab there, so you can move to satellite installations if you'd like. Okay, so you can see here from the this little animation here, it has it'll show you the license count you have, the number available, and also any of the seats that have been previously used that have been issued from this text box up above. So it's a little bit different than in the past. You're actually issuing the different PDAs that you want to allow to connect to this install of TracerPlus Connect. Okay, one thing I would also like to mention, since you do need to take those device IDs and put them into TracerPlus Connect, I would like to make note that you can get those device IDs from TracerPlus Desktop in kind of a single spot for getting all of your device IDs. If you go to the Tools Client Manager shortcut in TracerPlus Desktop, any device that you've had connected in the past will have their device ID displayed there, and that's an easy place to go to grab those device IDs so that you can copy them and paste them into the registration form within TracerPlus Connect. So you can see that here, the Client Manager. Another interesting thing to note with that Client Manager, and I'll jump over to this next screen here, you can register your devices directly through TracerPlus Desktop now. There's no need to fill out the web form or contact us to get your registration code. You can actually, after connecting all of your devices, just take the redemption link that was sent and place that into the registration form within the Client Manager. You can see that here, and then the registration code will automatically be issued back and will automatically register that device. Once the device is registered, you would just take this device ID you see here or down below and copy that into TracerPlus Connect, so that now that device is fully registered with your TracerPlus Connect installation. Okay, and another place to get that device ID is from the device itself if you go to the Help About form. Okay, so with that, I'm going to jump over actually into the demonstration now of TracerPlus Connect. And again, if anybody would like to join me or take a look at this later on, everything here is available from both the installation of TracerPlus Connect and also from our Solution Center. So I'm going to go ahead and hop out of here and actually jump over to TracerPlus Desktop to grab the solution or the project that I'm going to push down to the mobile device. So here, this is TracerPlus Desktop. From the home screen of TracerPlus Desktop, I'm going to go ahead and grab the project that I'd like to work with and hook it up into TracerPlus Connect. So I'm going to click on the Search Online Samples here. Again, it'll load the categories that we have available on our website. I'm going to go ahead for the demonstration and select the Inventory Control category. And I'm going to select this Inventory Issue and Receive. So once you hit select here, you'll see a screenshot of what that looks like. Okay, it's just a simple issue and receive application that keeps track of inventory. Just very basic. It's scan a part number, select a location that part number is going to be received to or issued from, and the quantity that you're either going to take or take out of inventory or receive into inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the import process here. Okay, it'll download this application from our website and open it up within TracerPlus Desktop. Okay, so you can see here the project is now open. I have 3 forms or 3 sessions within this project. There's the receive product session, an issue product session, and a product list session. So this is again a free application available from our Solution Center. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and push this down to the connected mobile device that I have here so that you guys can see the application without any data and without any synchronization set up from TracerPlus Connect. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the Tools, Build, Deploy. I'm going to hit the Deploy button here, and this will go through the deployment process. Okay, and once this pushes it down, you'll see TracerPlus opens up on the mobile device, and now I'm sharing the screen of a mobile device here so you guys can see this. Okay, so it's going to open up. The first open, it'll be importing some data here. Now once this opens, there's going to be, I'm going to jump in and show you how the tables are empty from the default project from the website. Okay, so if I go to view data here for each one of my different applications, you'll see I have receive product, issue product, and view product. The view product is actually the product list. So this is where TracerPlus would be maintaining all of its data on the mobile device. So you can see now it's empty and there's no products available so that we can issue them out of inventory or receive them into inventory. So in order to hook that up, I'm going to take an Access database that has come with the TracerPlus Connect installation and hook it up to our project here so that we can go ahead and send the data to and from the mobile device. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and first jump over to TracerPlus Connect and start a new project. So for now I'm going to minimize the mobile device, and I'm going to go ahead here. You can see this is the home screen of TracerPlus Connect. Right now I don't have any project configured, so I'm going to go ahead and start one up. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to hit create a new profile here. Now a sync profile is basically a logical grouping of the different syncing that you'd like to set up. For my application, I have 2 different things that are going on. I'm going to want to push data to the device so that the mobile worker can go out and start scanning items, viewing descriptions of the items, viewing their locations. And then at the end of the day, I want to get that data back off of the device and populate it into some database. So I'm going to divide them up into 2 sync profiles. It's really just a logical grouping of how you'd like to group that action or that type of sync that you want to set up with the mobile device. So I'm going to go ahead here and start my first profile, and this profile is the one I'm going to configure to push information to the mobile device so that I have data in that item list that you saw on the mobile device. So I'm going to go ahead and create the first sync process in this profile. So the profile, I'm going to say send data to PDA. So this, the grouping of all of these actions here are going to be just all sending data to the PDA. So the first sync process in this, I'm going to actually populate that item list on the handheld. So let's just say we'll call this one upload item list. Okay? And now a sync process is basically a definition of where your data is starting and then where it's ending. So you can see down below here there's these 2 tabs for source and destination. Basically what I'm going to do here is just select a source of my data, which is in this case going to be ODBC. I'm going to select the sample database that comes with the installation here. It's called TracerPlus Connect Sample. Okay? And then I'm going to select the table that I want to grab these products from. And in this case it's going to be this product list table. Okay, so now I've defined my source of the data to be the product list in this Access database. And now the destination in this case is going to be TracerPlus. So I want to push this down to the mobile device. Okay, and the first thing I do actually before I set this up, you'll notice here it loaded session 1, field 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this is in the default state. So I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to actually select my TracerPlus desktop project. Okay, so I can actually see the different sessions that I have loaded on the device. So in this case it was this inventory manage application here. Okay, and once I do that, you can see now the TracerPlus definition has been set up to match what is on the handheld. So if I open up this session drop down, you'll see I only have the 3 sessions that were available within that project. So it makes it a little bit easier in seeing how the data is going to be moving back and forth between the Access database and the TracerPlus table. Okay, but for this setup here, what I want to do is actually push this product list from the Access database to the product list on the handheld. So I'm going to select the product list here. And then down below are the field mappings. So you want location to go to location, part number to part number, and so on. But you can see how these marry up nicely between the field names in Access and then the field names that we have on the actual handheld. Okay, so just this right now, if I were to trigger this sync process, it's going to send all of the data in the product list in the Access database to the product list on the handheld, and we would have a full inventory of everything that was in the Access database. But just to show you, there are some other options here as to how you can filter and update data between the two on the two sides. On the source, you can set up filtering, source filtering. So it would allow you to send only data that you need to get to the device. So maybe in this case, you may want to turn on something like filtering on location, so you don't push down all of the information from the Access database, but maybe only want to push down information that matches a certain location. So that's where you would configure your source filtering here. So you're sending just the data that you need. For the sample today, I'm just going to push everything, but just to note that you can filter the data at the source side before it gets to the destination. On the destination, you can also then set how the data at the destination is either updated or overwritten within that database. In this case here, since I always want to push a fresh item list over to the device and not keep appending it, I'm going to switch this post type to be overwrite. And that basically just means anything in this source, just overwrite what's in the destination when the sync process is triggered. Okay, one other option here also I should mention, we do have the updating ability on the destination. So it'll actually, any data that may have changed in the source will update on the destination rather than just overwriting or appending to that database. For the sample today, I'm going to select just overwrite for this though. Okay, so that's pretty much all I want to do for this sync process. The next thing I want to just add to this profile, not only in TracerPlus Connect can you move data from, say, an ODBC table to a TracerPlus session, but you can also send data from an ODBC table and field to a TracerPlus session dropdown field, so that you can populate a dropdown every time you do a sync. So if information maybe on your locations changes in a dropdown, you can have that data synchronized to the handheld as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the PDA for each one of the dropdowns on the within our TracerPlus desktop project. So another interesting thing to note here is in the table for TracerPlus, since I loaded this inventory management project that we have from TracerPlus Desktop, it also knows which fields on the device are dropdowns. So it'll load those here. So you can see not only can I push data to the session itself, but I can push data over to the dropdown on the device. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and add a couple extra sync processes. So every time this profile is triggered, it's going to always update all of the information on the mobile device for each one of those destinations that I select. So I'll go ahead, I actually have 3 dropdowns within this project. Each one of them is basically a location dropdown. So I'm going to go ahead and say upload item list location. Okay, so basically I'm going to select the ODBC source here again, the same database. In this case, it's going to be my product locations, and then the destination is going to be TracerPlus. Okay, I'm going to go ahead again and select this. Since you can select multiple projects, I'm going to go ahead and select this inventory managed project again, and I'll need to do that for each one. But what I'll do here is now I'm going to select my view product list again, and this time I want to populate the location dropdown within that session. Okay, and I'm going to do that for each of the other 2 sessions on the mobile device. So I'm going to say upload locations, receive inventory. Okay, so this one again is going to be TracerPlus Connect, the sample database. It's going to be the product locations. The destination again is going to be TracerPlus. I will go ahead and select my project here, inventory manage. Okay, just so I get the fields. You don't have to, that's optional. You can see that tag, that label there. It is optional to select the project, but it does make it more readable as to which field you're syncing the data to. So this one I said it was upload locations to my receive inventory, so I'm going to select the receive inventory session and select the receive to dropdown. Okay, and then the last one is upload locations to the issue session on the device. So again, this one will be the same thing, ODBC, the TracerPlus Connect sample. I'm going to pick the product locations again, and I'm going to go back to TracerPlus one more time here, open this project. Okay, I'm going to select the receive to drop down for my issue product session, or issue from drop down I should say. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this sync profile here. The only other thing actually I'll need to do is change the post type for each one of these to be overwrite. Otherwise, every time we do a sync, the drop down is going to contain duplicate information over and over again. So I'm going to select overwrite here. Okay, so that's all I wanted to do for this sync profile. The next profile, like I mentioned before, was actually going to be downloading the information that was collected on the device back to the Access database. So I'm going to go ahead over here in the Profile Explorer. I'm going to select create a new profile. We'll call this one Download Info. Okay, I'm going to add a sync process to this one, and in this one it's going to just be reverse. I'm going to go ahead and select TracerPlus as the source. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and select the project again. Again, I'll have to do that each time I want to use this project. And then for the destination, in this case, I'm going to select ODBC, and it's going to be that same access table. So now I'm downloading information off of the handheld back to the Access database. Okay, so actually let's hook up one of these. I guess I'll do the receive product first, since I picked that here on the source side. So I'm going to go ahead and select my product received table in Access. Okay, and in this one I'm going to have to change the mapping slightly because the database has additional fields that the PDA within TracerPlus doesn't. So in this case I'm going to go ahead and select this ID field, and I want to remove this. So I'm going to select it from the right hand side and hit this remove button, and it'll shift everything up, and then we'll just make sure that we're married up on each side. So we have part number to part number, receive to receive to, description, quantity on hand, quantity received, and then quantity to receive and the date received. So you can see here I want to also get rid of this quantity on hand, so I'm going to select on the left side and remove this, and now it'll move this quantity to receive up to the quantity received field on the destination side. So there I have all of the field mappings for this session here. I'm going to go ahead and change this. Actually, in this case, we may want this to be append, because this is kind of keeping track of a log of everything that's been received. I'm going to leave that one as append. The source side, I'm going to actually turn on delete after transfer. This is just a warning saying it won't be performed in trial mode. Here now, after I've collected and scanned all of these items, I want to go ahead and delete them off the handheld. So I'm not re-downloading the received quantities every time I perform a sync. So download receive. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the same for the issue. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I create a new process here. This one's going to be called download issue, issued quantity. Okay, source again will be TracerPlus. Selecting the project as usual. Go to Manage V6. Okay, I'm going to select the issue product session within that project. Then I'm going to select my ODBC table again. Okay, and I want to select the product issued in this case. And again, we'll do the same thing with the field mappings. Just make sure everything marries up correctly. Quantity on hand, I want the quantity that was entered for issuing to go to the quantity issued field in Access. Okay, and then again we'll do delete after transfer with the post type of append. Okay, so that's my second profile configured to download all of the information that was recorded on the mobile device within the receive and issue sessions that we've created or that we downloaded from the Solution Center, and now that information is going to be posted to the Access database. So one other thing I want to do before I jump over to the handheld, I'm actually going to show you one thing that doesn't include the TracerPlus synchronization or synchronizing anything on the mobile device. So I'm going to set up an additional sync process here that'll show you how TracerPlus Connect can move data that doesn't maybe even include TracerPlus on the handheld. So let's just say, for instance, we wanted at the end of a mobile worker having issued and received items in and out of inventory. Let's say we want an Excel spreadsheet updated with the latest products that are in inventory with their item counts. So I'm going to go ahead and actually add an additional sync process to this, and I'm going to call this one Move Inventory to Excel. Okay, so this process isn't going to include the mobile device, but it will take what we've captured from the mobile device and post it to the Access database and move it over to an Excel spreadsheet so that maybe a salesman or someone else can actually review the latest items in inventory. Now, this doesn't obviously have to be Microsoft Excel, it could be something else, but it's just something that someone else would have access to outside of, say, the inventory system, so that they can get the most up-to-date information. So in this case, now I'm going to select my source to be ODBC again, and it's going to be that same database. Okay, I'm going to select the product list because this will contain our most up-to-date inventory. Okay, and then I'm going to select Excel as my destination. So when you select Excel, you'll see the configuration is slightly different here. You select a workbook and a worksheet. So I'm going to go ahead and select a pretty much blank Excel spreadsheet that I have set up here called Current Inventory. Okay, so when I load that, it loads the sheets that are available within that workbook, and you'll see you can select them from here. So I'm just going to go to sheet 1, and I'm just going to go by the default mappings here. So you can see location goes to A, column A, and so on. So that this spreadsheet here, sheet 1, will be updated with all of the item counts that we have from our inventory system. Okay, so that's pretty much everything I want to set up for the TracerPlus Connect. The next thing I'll need to do, and I'm going to save my project here, the next thing I'm going to need to do is actually jump over to TracerPlus Desktop, and I need to hook up that project that we downloaded from the Solution Center into our TracerPlus Connect projects, and now we're able to synchronize the data back and forth. So I'm going to jump back over to TracerPlus Desktop. Okay, and the first thing I need to do is in my project properties, there's a new option here for data integration, and this is how you're hooking up that mobile device with that TracerPlus Connect installation that you have configured. So the first thing I'll need to do is add a host. This is just basically either a host name or the IP address of where that Connect server is running. So in this case here, I'm going to go ahead and enter my IP address, and I'll just touch on some of these other options here. You can configure TracerPlus Connect profiles within Desktop. You can do that here by clicking this Configure button. I configured it within TracerPlus Connect itself, so I won't be doing that for the demonstration here. But just to note, you can configure those within TracerPlus Desktop. Some of the other options here for synchronization, we do, like I touched on before, offer the ability to now sync based on timers or conditions. So that, say, every once a day you want to cause a sync to happen behind the scenes, you can configure that here. So the mobile device will attempt to connect to the TracerPlus Connect server and synchronize with the sync profiles that you have configured. We have sync conditions. This will allow you to sync based on different conditions that are met on the mobile device. So this could be something like a date-time condition or a database count. So if the database count, say, gets down to 0, you can then allow a synchronization to occur so that maybe that mobile device can get its most up-to-date information. The last option here is the sync feedback. During a synchronization, there's typically a progress dialog that is displayed on the mobile device. You can hide that dialog so that if you are doing synchronizations behind the scene, that dialog doesn't pop up in front of the mobile worker there. But for the demonstration, I'm just going to leave it as just this one host here. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do, since I'm not setting up a sync timer, I actually need to make a form on the device or a session that allows the mobile worker to perform a synchronization with the server. So what I'm going to do here is actually add a session to this application. So I'm going to hit Create Session here. Okay, you'll see Session 4 was added to our project. And I'm just going to call this one Sync. So that's all this is really going to be used. It's not for data collection. It's not for viewing data. It's really just going to be a form on the device that allows someone out in the field to go ahead and synchronize with TracerPlus Connect. So what I'm going to do here is actually jump over to the form designer and just add a couple buttons on this form that will allow the user to sync. So here we'll add a button called download, I guess download data, for lack of a better term for this button. But this is basically going to be the button that they click to download all of their product information. So they get the product list, they get all of the drop downs, and it will sync profile 1 with TracerPlus Connect. So in order to configure this, all I need to do is go over to the button action, select Do Sync as the action. Okay, and when you do that, you have a couple extra options here in the sync profiles. The first thing you need to do is define a host ID, and the second thing is a profile ID. The host ID can simply be found in this hosts list here. You can see the ID number 1. I can add additional hosts so that a client can connect to different servers if they like. If you wanted to connect to, say, a different IP address, you can do that. So you just grab this ID here, which happens to be 1, and enter that into the host that you'd like to sync with when you click this button. The next thing here is the profile ID. In this case, it's the first profile. So when I click this button, I only want to sync this first profile on the device, the send data to PDA. Okay. The next thing, I'm going to add another button to the form for pushing the data that was collected on the device to the server. So let's call this one upload data. Okay. We'll do the same button action of do sync. Same host ID, host 1, since I only have one with this project. The profile ID in this case will be 2, because that's the second profile in our project, and we want to only sync with that one. And that's pretty much it. The last thing I'm going to actually do so they can leave this form is add a done button. Okay, with a button action of done. That'll just bring us back to the home screen. I'll also line this up so it looks a little nicer. And maybe change the color to something else. Okay, so now I've simply created a form that's going to be available on the mobile device for a mobile worker to actually synchronize. Now again, you could set this up so that there would be no worker intervention. There would be just some type of sync timer or something like that. But this is another easy way to set it up, a common way to start your synchronization with the server. Okay, so I should have everything configured there. I'll go ahead and save this project and do the deploy again. Okay, the TracerPlus gets closed on the device, and now it will reopen once this synchronization is complete. Okay, and once it's done loading here, I can go ahead and start my synchronizations. So here in the TracerPlus Connect, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the synchronize form before I start these syncs. You'll see that you can still do cradle syncing within TracerPlus Connect. You can do that here by selecting the appropriate sync button. Also down below you have the activity monitor. This will show you the different activity that's happening on the server, so you can see the clients that are connecting and synchronizing. Okay, so you see I have the new form here. Again, if I jump into the view product, there's no data on this handheld. If I have everything set up correctly, if I go to the sync form, now I want to actually, at the beginning of the day, get that data. So I'm going to go ahead and hit download data here. You can see it's doing the 4 processes that were configured in the first. You also saw hopefully the activity in the monitor behind that, and now that synchronization is done. So now you can see on the mobile device that I actually have data now in my product list. So you can see I have different locations, the part numbers, the description of what that item is, and then as well as the quantity on hand. Now just to note, all of this data does actually come preloaded in that sample database, so if you configure everything here today, when you do the sync, you should see the same data available on your mobile device. Okay, so now just to finish showing you how the data gets moved around, I'm going to jump over to a, let's say, a receive product form here. Okay, now you can see I'm just going to go ahead and scan one of the parts, and the parts here happen to be 123, I believe. I'm going to go ahead and simulate a scan there. You can see it looked up the description of what that was. The drop down here, you can see it has the different locations that came from our Access database. So this drop down again was synchronized from the Access database and updated when I pressed the download data button. But I'm just going to go ahead here and select a stock room. You can see the quantity on hand I had was 10. If I click on the quantity to receive box, it'll bring up a little number pad here that I can go ahead and update or add the new quantity that I want to receive. So I'm just going to go ahead and maybe do this for two, I think 124 and 124. There's a woman's polo. Now I'm going to go ahead and select maybe a location for this one as well. And there were none at that location. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab another or receive another quantity here, maybe of 10 for this particular item. Go ahead and save. You can see I'm building basically a list of all the products that have been received. Once I'm done now, I can go back over to this sync form, and now in this case I'm going to hit upload data. You'll see now it's going through 3 sync processes because I have the 3 available there. You can see the status behind it and that the sync was successful, and this closes in a number of seconds that you can define yourself actually. So now actually what you can do, go ahead and see is that if I jump over to the Access database, okay, here I have it open, I can actually see that information that I just collected on the mobile device is now available in the Access database. So you can see those 2 items that I just received there are now in our product received table. So I received 5 men's polos and 10 women's polos. The other thing that I would like to show you now is actually if I open up this Excel spreadsheet, okay, current inventory, you can now see that that information that was from our inventory has now been moved over from the Access database to the Excel spreadsheet. So not only have I taken the data from the handheld and posted that back to the Access database, I've also moved that data from the Access database, and it could be some other inventory system that maybe not everyone in the organization has access to. Move that information that's necessary over to the Excel spreadsheet so that somebody else can review it in some other format. So really you can see from that it gives you extra power and flexibility about how you're moving your data around, not only from the not only from just one session on the mobile device to some database table, but that session can move its data to and from different data sources, and then those data sources can even move information to other locations. If you would like to take a look at all of this, everything should be available with both the installation of TracerPlus Connect as well as the samples that we have available on the Solution Center. So if you select that product issue and receive from the inventory category in the Solution Center, you can go ahead and try this out, adding a sync form to your application. So just to touch on the kind of the future of TracerPlus Connect and some of the other syncing products, TracerPlus Connect is intended to kind of combine all of the different syncing tools that we currently offer between TracerPlus ODBC Link, Wireless Server, and TracerPlus Connect. You can see from this screen here that some of those previous products, if you weren't familiar with them, kind of performed their functions separately from one another. So if you wanted to do batch database syncing, you would go with TracerPlus ODBC Link. So that would be syncing through the cradle to a database. If you wanted to go wireless syncing, you would go with TracerPlus Wireless Server, and that would allow you to transfer data to and from a backend database wirelessly, as well as the Excel TracerPlus Connect for Microsoft Excel plugin. That was a batch syncing tool with with Microsoft Excel. All that functionality is now included within this one application, TracerPlus Connect, so that you can sync to those different applications either in a wireless batch mode, or just a batch mode through the cradle. Okay, so again, here's a little diagram kind of the roadmap where all of the functionality of those 3 products will be combined within TracerPlus Connect for both batch and wireless real-time syncing, and with the different backend data sources, Excel, ODBC, and different systems that we incorporate in the future. Okay, so the road ahead for all these products, again, TracerPlus Connect will support different platforms. It will allow you to transfer data to and from different devices, different back-end databases, and we will be pushing ahead with different data sources. So not only syncing with, say, an ODBC database or a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, but we will be adding additional syncing back-end data options so that you can move data to and from those systems as well. Okay, so that's kind of the road ahead with TracerPlus Connect. allowing you to kind of combine all of those features of the other products into this one TracerPlus Connect installation, and with a lot more flexibility as to how you move your data around. Okay, so with that, again, I thank everybody for joining us today, and I hope everybody has a great day.